James O'Rourke was against moving the offices to the library, and the discussion was to move the meetings to the library. That's all I had. Anyone else? I'm sorry?
Under committee reports, the very next to the last line.
Yeah.
I think it's greater and not graded. Next to the last line on page 1.
Oh, okay.
2 lines up, talks about the grader.
Oh, okay.
It's a ER, not ED.
Okay.
I thought I got lost and then I realized what I was looking at.
Anyone else? All in favor with the corrected changes?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none. We'll move on. We'll begin with public comments. Joy?
Joy Eliezer. I say we move this meeting to library. I mean, this is ridiculous. It's too crowded. There are no exits that we can get out of easily.
Try the door.
Yeah. We can climb over people because now people are blocking every way that row 1 or the people at this table could get out. So that's my comment. I brought it up at the last meeting and I'm bringing it up again.
All right, thank you. Anyone else?
Yeah, I have a comment.
Yes.
Dick Eliezer. There's this is a public forum here. There's an exit sign to be seen. Every time we go to an affair at the school, they make a point of there's 2 exits here, there's 2 exits back there. If you have to get out of this place in a hurry, take notice of. There's an exit sign in the building here.
There's one right there.
Where?
Right there, right behind Bob.
In the next
Over
row.
the door.
Okay, who can see? Can any of the people here see that?
No.
Okay. I mean, how many people can see it? So the bottom line is, there's got to be some exit signs in this place for sure. I mean, I would think that just as a public building, there should be an exit sign somewhere for just in case.
Well, we'll check on that. I'll work with Bob on that.
And the second question I have is probably 6 or so months ago, the propane tank at the library was brought up, and I believe Randy brought it up and brought to the forefront that the tank was sitting over the top of a sewer line. And were you ever able to find out how that thing ended up on the sewer line, or whether it was ever signed off by anybody as being okay in that position, or who was responsible for it, and yada yada yada? So I guess that's my question.
Yeah, Randy, you want to speak on that?
Sure. We have started to, as it said in the paper, we've started to drain the tank, aka burn it.
Absolutely.
To lighten it up. A village board member has asked me to hold off on any decision making. They are going to get a determination from the village board to see if they can give us a variance on that tank sitting on that line. That would save the town or whomever, the whole situation, a lot of work and money. If they do allow that, it's going to be a signed off variance that if there's ever a problem underneath that yeah, we're going to have to remove it for them. But right now that's going to come up in the next next available board meeting, which is next Monday, I do believe. I talked to that person this morning about that.
Okay,
So.
thank you.
Anyone else?
Gary Reinhardt, station manager of Declan Radio. I just wanted to report on our first recording. So far, everything went very well. We had 41 people play the meeting on Spreaker.com, which is where I house the board meeting, with 4 downloads. We also had about 10 people listen when we played it live or not live, but when we played it on Thursday. I have a few comments, if I could just go through these. Keep up the good work. My job prevents me from attending these meetings. I like being informed about what happens in the village, and these broadcasts are a fantastic segment. I love hearing these when I can. I may not live there anymore, but I always feel like home. Gary is doing a phenomenal job. And I didn't just add that to make myself feel better. The only negative comment I've gotten was someone saying, this would be great without the constant keyboard typing noise in the background, which we have addressed. So, other than that, everything seems to be going really well. The audio seems to have gone very well. Of course, depending on how we vote on certain things, we'll have to start from the beginning, but that happens.
Gary, on that, I didn't hear it on Thursday night, but I looked for it later, and it wasn't anywhere on your Dackland Radio website that I could find it, so I Googled Lake Pleasant meeting of whatever, and it did pop up, and I was able to get a podcast of it. But is there any place that you could put a link where it's easier to find so people could find that and not have to Google and
I will make that note to my website person, Casey Morrison. I will send that email as soon as we're done here. And then we just put up the link from Spreaker. It's just one line. I haven't had a chance to talk with Mrs. Meister about putting it on the website. It's just a simple link, and it should go right to it.
Okay, thank you.
I thought you were going to put it in Debbie's minutes.
Was I supposed to do that?
No. Yeah.
Okay.
Because that's so easy to do. She can easily, it's nothing for her to put her minutes up there.
Okay, well I can do that too.
Okay.
Yeah.
In each meeting's minutes then?
Yeah, I can always just, it's all housed in one spot, so the link will always remain the same. It doesn't change.
Oh,
it's
okay.
just finding where it's housed. That's the
yeah.
You can
So
just
as long as you get the link, and then it'll have a list. It'll say like the day of what meeting it was, and then it'll keep going down.
Does it have to be attached to another file, or can it just sit on the website by itself?
It can just sit on the website. It's just a link by itself.
Okay.
Depending on how you do it, you can just put up the whole thing, or you can just say link and say this is the link here.
Well, I should be able to just copy the link to the website and paste it.
Or a lot of times, a lot of the web builders will make it a blue text, and then you just click it, which makes it easy. But I will email Casey Morrison, like I said, as soon as we're done here, and we will get that right away to the website.
Great.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
I have something.
Yes.
So, here, Debbie, these are for you just in case it's kind of long. So, I'm Christy O'Connor. I want to comment on two things tonight. First, I understand the board is batting around the possibility of changes to the health insurance as far as percentages paid by retirees, elected officials, etc. Well, I don't know the details. It's imperative for you all to remember that you cannot take away something that was worked toward or counted on by employees. You cannot rip that out from under them, because that is no way to treat people. And if that's what you're considering, then shame on you. As far as the cost of health insurance rising, yes, it is. So is milk and propane and electric and Doritos and donuts. I mean, that's economics and that's life. And if you want to make newly hired or newly elected employees pay a higher percentage of their insurance, then so be it. But remember, you get what you pay for. Do you want qualified individuals who are reliable, trustworthy, eager to work for you, or are you satisfied with just a body, someone with a pulse and no work ethic? I've learned a lot about business in the last 2 years. And the God's honest truth is your staff makes you or breaks you. You hire the best and compensate them accordingly, and you trust them to be trustworthy, and they will go to the ends of the earth for you. Right now, it appears to me that this board is looking backwards, putting out these tiny, meaningless fires, searching for ways to save money when you all need to be working together on ways to make money. Instead of punishing loyalty and hard work by taking away benefits, put that energy and knowledge and time into creating revenue for this town. For example, finding more ways to advertise and build up the town to attract tourism dollars and permanent residents. Work on better, faster internet, cell service so people can work from anywhere. Work on lodging, housing. We need another gas station, a pharmacy, daycare center, ride-sharing services for elderly, youth rec, crowd creation. Like, it just goes on. And attract people, families like my age and much younger to move here. Why are you spending so much time and effort on the past when you all need to be looking towards the future? Okay, and secondly, that was my first thing. And secondly, I love that Declan Radio is broadcasting these meetings. Good job. I heard a public comment at the last meeting that went something like, and I'm not sure who was it said, but why can't you find money in the budget and return it to the taxpayers, referring to Faith's raise being retroactive to her hire date or something like that. So this statement, I feel, is completely wrong. The taxes that I pay are for services the town provides. Okay? They are income for the town to use for all of us. If taxes are cut or returned or reduced, we're all going to lose something. If my taxes go down, maybe my road won't get plowed that extra time, or my recycling won't get picked up this week, or anymore, and I'll have to bring it to the dump myself. Or my elderly neighbors won't get sand on their driveways after an ice storm. I like having these things. I like having the best roads in the county and the best snowmobile trails around, and a youth rec program, and the improvements at the library. Please don't tell me you'll cut taxes or have a 0% increase, because that just means you're taking something away from someone. Maybe the town employee is not getting a raise. Everything goes up. Cost of living goes up. But that means the benefits and services do too. You simply insert the word services for taxes when you complain about them, and it's so clear. I hate taxes. I hate services. Oh, my taxes went up again. Well, then they picked up my garbage again. I mean, that's what taxes are. Please cut my taxes. Please cut my services. I like to drive an 8 inches of snow. You see, don't waste money. Certainly spend it wisely. But if you all want, if all you want to do is nitpick and bicker and trip over a dollar to pick up a dime, then just keep trying to live in the past. But what you all should be doing is focusing on the future of Lake Pleasant. Nobody's getting any younger around here, and not as many people are moving in. So maybe somebody could focus and work on making this whole town better instead of worrying about moving the meeting to the library. Like, it's too much time on that. It's too much time on things like that. We need to look at the bigger picture of the town. And that's it. Thanks.
Thank you.
I promised I would leave after that.
My name is Betsy Bain, and I just want to say that I agree with everything that Christy just said. The only thing that she left out is job creation. We should be trying to create jobs to keep our younger people here, not worrying so much about our retired people. And don't get me wrong when I say it, I may not have said that correctly, but you people are all retired and you've done your dues. You've worked hard all those years. You deserve to be retired and enjoy life. We have younger people that can't afford to live here because they can't make a living. They have to go out of the area. It would be nice if we could create some kind of jobs to keep them here. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Yeah, Mark Docker. I just want to respond to some of this nonsense because I've been here since '77. My taxes have been raised every year. In some cases, a large percentage. My regular house in Connecticut never saw these increases. And I'm sorry that the young people don't live here. My son lives here. He graduated college. He works 3 jobs here. People want him to work. The problem is the kids don't want to work. Mm-hmm. So don't say, and Betsy, you were on the board for all these years. You guys could have solved all these problems yourselves. So don't blame this board for not solving the problems. I believe the chamber, I also work in the Lions Club and I work with Jim. I know the chamber has a lot of great ideas heading in that direction, providing housing for the kids who work summer jobs, maybe buying a hotel or leasing one of the old hotels and making that worthwhile. But as far as taxes go, I'm just tired of paying all these taxes. There's hardly any services. We plow the roads. I hear that truck go by 100 times with an inch of snow. Do we have to go by 100 times when there's an inch of snow? It's a waste of money. Maintenance on the vehicle, breakdowns on the vehicles. It's ridiculous. You got to save money when you can, and I think it's important that the board looks at saving money for all of us. Can we divert money from one thing to another? Sure. I worked for New York City Water Supply for 35 years. Our budgets, every year they would cut this. New employees came in, they gave them less, they charged more for health insurance. You're not the only ones that see this. There's 350,000 employees in the city of New York. I paid my health insurance. I had to pay extra for family, and I paid a great percentage. And I continue to pay for my health insurance. So nobody here is being penalized. We're just trying to save money for the taxpayer because we vote you in. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, we'll move on to highway.
First thing was the propane tank, which we already discussed. Next is, I just wanted to bring it up, but there's a few discrepancies in the newspaper. I will speak to Pete about it. I'll give him a call. I was hoping he was here, but I don't see him.
She's not coming in tonight.
He's not? Okay. One being that the groomer was not brought to Utica. We purchased the part from Utica and we did the repairs ourselves. The second is we're not having a discrepancy of whose propane tank it is. J&R Eldridge just fills it and sold the tank to us. There's no discrepancy of who owns the tank. And the third was an employee matter that retirement or left the job, that's all.
Okay.
I just wanted to clear it up. So 3 things right in a row in one paragraph, it looks kind of bad. The next is already discussed here earlier, but we did all our trails today grooming. They all had decent amount of snow on them, able to flatten them out. I think we had a great weekend this past weekend with everybody here. Oxbow Trail is still closed. It will be closed the rest of the year. That goes from Sacandaga Lake to Oxbow Lake. There's many washouts on that trail, and then the lake is not safe when it gets onto the lake. So we don't want to push people towards open water on the lake. That being said, going back to the next thing as far as equipment, I mentioned the grader last meeting. I have gotten some information. I talked to the highway committee about it. We went and looked at the John Deere grader 672 GP that's on lease at Lehigh Cement. It has 520 hours on it. It is the sell price of it is $187,000. A new grader is $400 and change for that, straight up. State contract and or what's the terminology of it? NJPA contract, which is just another long form for state bid contracts, deducts a whole lot of money to the tune of like 40% off of this price. Suggested list is $429. They're willing to sell it to us for $187,852. They are also taking off a percentage of the lease payments that Lehigh's been making, since it does have the 520 hours on it, which is 500 hours is its first oil change. So really it's a brand new machine. Malcolm, myself, and Ed Brooks went down and looked at it, started it up, didn't really operate it, but ran it through all its functions and everything else. Like I said, it's brand new. They do, as I was asked by Dan, they do make a smaller machine now, starting out last June. It's a 622 GP. I have a quote on that also, which is $54,000 more than this one with 500 hours on it. So in my mind, that tells me that we're going to pay more for a smaller machine and a machine that is brand new to the world and hasn't had the bugs worked out of it. That goes for $242 under the same contracts. I did some research online as far as getting prices for plain old, not old, but plain straight out of the internet pricing. I'll hand this around, you guys can look at it. Anywhere from, if you're looking at the 275, 192 is the lowest one, but it's in New Mexico. And also the hours are 2,000 to 3,000 hours. And it is also 2015, yeah. Same year, 5 times as many hours and a long ways away the shipping would kill us. The numerous ones here, 7,000, 6,000, 5,000 hours on 2015 machines, and they still want $300,000 for them. So because of the state contract, it's the smart way to go. Obviously, that's why they do it for municipalities. Yep. So pass all that around. That's the 622 is the smaller one. 672 obviously is the bigger one, but it's not brand new. It's 2015. I think I'm suggesting to the board that we purchase this before it goes to the wayside and we end up paying, the full amount without the lease. They have offered us $15,000 for trade on the grader that we have. It's been on Auctions International since Friday. It's at $3,600. It has 11 more days to go. Not throwing that out yet. Whether or not we take the trade or we trade in value of the grader or we take the Auctions International, whichever one's higher. I mean, it's only smart. We don't really care where it goes. I've called a couple local towns, Wells Morehouse, others that have older machines than ours, see if they're interested, and most of them have no interest whatsoever. So,
how did you make up with the head gasket?
Head gasket was replaced. We haven't operated it, quote unquote.
Still haven't operated it?
Because we don't dare to go on the roads until frost goes out. We've run it around out back, we've, stuff like that, but we haven't given it an 8-hour run that, and quite frankly, when they were coming to inspect it, I wanted it in pristine shape. Right now it looks like,
Ask a question.
not really, but
No.
okay.
No? Okay.
No. There's a public comment period at the end.
I'd like to ask Randy a question.
Go ahead, Mark.
I wondered what the amount of money was in this year's budget.
Well, right now, none. But the way we were discussed last meeting was a ban. You would not have to make a payment until next year. So then you can budget into next year's budget this, if that's the correct way to answer that. So the first payment would be in next year's budget, as far as I know. So
Send that back down to him.
any questions from you guys?
The age of the current one we have is
84,
84.
which is 34 years old.
Why did I think that was a 71?
Don't know.
Was thinking something else. Any other questions? Okay. Anything else?
Well, wondering if the board would entertain a resolution to purchase with the, obviously, next resolution would have to be to go for a ban, which I believe Debbie would be.
I do have another question, Randy.
Okay.
The last I knew, Lehigh Cement might have been planning to buy that machine when the lease ended.
Correct.
Is
They
that-
are not.
They are not. Okay.
They're going to lease another
Okay.
one. I found that out this afternoon.
Okay.
They have, what she's talking about is Lehigh, since they have a lot of money invested in this machine, obviously, $7,000 a month rental. They have first dibs on purchasing it if there's a bidder, somebody comes in and wants to buy it, purchase it. Lehigh. But they have 48 hours to come through with that, and I was told by the salesman that he already approached Lehigh today, and they do not. They just want to keep it. They'll lease another machine. So that one is definitely available at this point.
We would have $11,495 that was in this year's budget that would not have to be in next year's budget because of the band we just paid off. I know that's a drop in the bucket compared to 187,000, but it's something.
Yeah, and whatever money, if we make it the Auctions International way of doing it, would be when that money comes in, it would turn into revenue, which would turn into fund balance, which would then could be appropriated into next year's budget also.
Right.
Randy, does the 187 and change, does that take into consideration the 15,000?
No.
It does not.
Does not.
Okay.
So if you were to go with the trade, if Auctions International doesn't go above 15, it's actually 172 and change.
Do you think that the quality of that machine would grant 30 years of service? I mean, I understand that's a hard question.
Yeah, that's a very hard question, but I believe so, yes. But I can't.
No, certainly nobody would hold you to that.
Right.
Because we all know that the car today is not what the car was.
Correct.
30
The
years
old
ago.
mechanical stuff is, longevity was much, a lot. It's mostly how it's taken care of. If it's beaten and not, kept up and so on and so forth, no, it won't make it. If it's taken care of properly, I would say at least 25 to 30, yeah. And we're not putting 1 million hours. Some of these that you saw on here are 3 years old with 7,000 hours on them. I mean, that means they're used every day.
Yeah.
Probably 12 hours a day, if that.
Yeah, we're at about 500 hours a year.
A year, correct.
And I know we talked last week about a rental option, but then it's never there when you need it.
Correct.
So, and we do know that we've had, in the last very few years, we've put a lot of money into this particular machine we have. And I guess we just wait for the next thing to
exactly.
be a problem.
If you average the last 8 to 10 years, it's going to be $6,000 or $7,000 a year that we're putting into this. And it's not, this year we might put $500 into it. Next year we're going to put $12,000 into it. One of these times it's going to be you can't find the parts.
Yeah, that's one of the larger concerns. We run that same difficulty with the fire trucks. We don't wear them out. You can't get parts.
As far as the band goes, how many years does the band go, and what would we be looking at roughly every year budget-wise?
Was it 2.5%?
It's 2.5%, but we don't know the years on this yet.
We don't know the maximum number of years. We'd have to talk to the lawyer about that. Right. It's either going to be 5 or 10. We can get a 5-year or a 10-year lease from John Deere. That's also, but the problem is it's a 5% loan.
Right. And the band's what, 2.5?
Yeah. So.
Randy, can we table this until we get that data to the next meeting and make a decision?
That's entirely up to you. I'm
offering
it up there. The discrepancy is if somebody does decide to buy this.
Right.
Yeah, it's gone.
It's gone.
What I'm looking at here, the 242,000.
You got the wrong one.
What am I looking at?
That's the smaller one.
Oh, that's the smaller one. Thank you.
Yeah.
That was very confusing. Okay.
I was like, shouldn't have 242 in front of you.
I think where Mike was going, I'd like to go there too. We need to find out what our costs are going to be for the van, and how many years we can put it out for to come up with a true number. And I think we could do that before the next meeting, can't we, Deb?
Yeah.
Well, I think most of the ones we've taken have been 10.
Or 5 years.
Depending on what the cost is.
Maybe we can kind of average it out a percentage. You and I can work on that.
Yeah.
And then we'll have to add the cost of the band riders too.
Right.
That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Right. Obviously, 5 years is going to be twice the payment than 10 years.
Makes sense.
I mean, that's only logical.
You're going to pay less in interest. But
you'll pay less in interest, but it'll be a bigger payment.
It won't
so
be much of a trade-off.
You're either going to pay 100, if it's 172 plus your interest, let's round it to 200. by the time you're done, because 5% was 44,000 on that lease, so 22,000. So you're talking 194, 195. You're talking $20,000 a year, or 40,000.
Right.
So it's whether or not you can put in 40,000 worst case scenario into the budget next year, which she just said there's 11 plus if the it goes more than that.
More than the 15.
Right. I think it's more than the 15. So that's the I mean,
So interest on a band is 2.5% if it's 5 years, 5% if it's 10 years.
no,
No.
we don't know what
Still
that.
2.5.
Yeah, it should be still 2.5.
Oh, it should
But
still
the
be
payments
2.5.
would be-
Yeah.
But the payments will be way less. It's just whether or
Right.
not we can do the 10.
Okay.
That's the only question right now.
Well, we can always pay it off early, right?
Correct. Which we just did on one,
Right.
the last one.
Right.
And we did on something else before that, the backhoe. We paid it off.
It appears to me, based on the information that you've given us in the last meeting and this meeting, that this is a deal that can't be expected to come up again.
No, because it's the lease money that's this greater for that $500
Mm-hmm.
that's knocking this down.
That's
Otherwise,
something that's very unusual.
right, that's very unusual. The state contract is the state contract.
Mhm.
That's a 40%, 43%. Caterpillar doesn't have anything used either. He was here. He didn't even submit a quote because he only has brand new. And he knew he couldn't beat that. Flat out, because he just,
Is that on a par with John Deere, Caterpillar?
yes.
Okay.
Those are the two that I would suggest because of their
Mm-hmm.
longevity in this business. There's others out there that are folding. You can buy different brand right now that's going out of business of the graders. So they're real cheap on the internet, but you can't find parts in a matter of a few years.
And you're going to pay for it because somebody's going to buy them up.
Right. Yep. Someone's gonna buy all the parts, and then when you want one, it's gonna cost.
If you're sincerely interested in purchasing this, perhaps I know the difference with the bands. I have never worked with a 10-year ban, so it's in my recollection in the years I've been here, they've all been 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
But I could have missed something at the beginning of it. But my thought is that perhaps we should resolve to purchase this and see where it goes from with the research, because I hate for you to lose something like that.
You think 2 weeks or?
Yeah, I mean it could be 2 weeks. It would be 2 weeks before that.
Right, it's 2 weeks from now.
But if the word gets out, then anybody's interested.
Well, why do we have to wait 2 weeks? Can't Randy get the information and we could have a quick special meeting?
Well, I'm not going to be here.
Oh, you're not going to be here? What do you think, Mike?
I think it's something we shouldn't really pass up. You're saving, what are you saving, about $150,000 roughly?
Well, I would say probably 75,000 is what's coming off of it, honestly.
But in comparison to another machine, that's what you're talking about, Mike?
Yeah,
Right.
to another machine I'm talking about. A brand new one.
Yeah, you'd end up with buying a brand spanking new one, which you get your 40% off of that 420,000, which, I mean, you're going to be in the 270 range, 260, 270.
Right. So then you're close to 100,000.
Yeah, you're close to it. Yeah.
80 to 100,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what you're talking for a ban? 80?
No.
The difference between if we lose this,
Oh,
and
and
we
have to
ended
go
up
get
having
another
to
one.
have
Okay.
to get a new one,
All right, thank you.
the 80,000 would be off the price of a new one because we'd also get the 40% off on that.
Is 2 weeks too risky?
I don't know. I mean, it's.
I just personally feel more comfortable discussing this.
I mean, this
Where the money
salesman
is
got
actually
back to
coming
me.
from before we make a decision.
Well, it's going to come from a band. There's no choice.
Yeah, I understand that, but
Okay,
we
so
don't
your
know
only
that-
choice is you're either going to get a 5-year or a 10-year. And
That's right.
history shows us that we typically have 5.
5.
Yeah, well, all right.
I mean, that's what we do.
That's in a nutshell. That's
Yeah.
This was,
I personally think we should go for it. I don't think we should pass up this opportunity since you.
How you make that
you-
motion, Chris?
You and Mike. Well, I think it should be the highway committee that makes the motion. But I'm just saying, me personally, this is an extremely expensive piece of
it
equipment.
is. It's the most expensive piece of equipment. It's more
That
expensive
we
than the
have.
trucks and everything else.
Right.
And that's why we kept
the last
one
one
we did
lasted
for so
30
long.
years, so we could expect
Right.
a good long lifetime out of this.
Correct.
And if this thing breaks and we don't have a new one, then
We're
we have
borrowing
to,
at that point in time, but we're in trouble because you only
we
have to borrow.
have to take what we can get,
Right.
or lease.
When we can get.
Right.
And then we start renting, and then it gets this money out the window.
Right.
What kind of warranty comes with that piece?
3 years.
Doesn't have
Engine and hydraulic. From the time it was put in service, which means next year, end of September, that will expire. For, I believe, I was just going to look up, somewhere around $3,000. You can extend it another 2 years after that.
Powertrain.
Yeah, September 21st, 2019. The one that's on there now, 2 more years, would be $3,000 is what he sent me. For the powertrain.
Right.
Engine, hydraulics, all that. But it comes with that until this time or September of next year. Which will be, it'll probably have 1,000 hours on it then.
Right.
Typically things break within that time period. The major things.
And when would this be available for you to go get?
They would deliver it.
Oh, good.
This much money? Yeah, they're delivering. They would bring it back to their shop, go through it, do their oil changes and do all that, and then bring it to us probably 2 weeks, maybe, by the time they get it all done, I would say.
Oh, so Lehigh's lease has ended?
Lehigh, that's the way their leases are. If they sell it, they can pull it right out.
Oh, okay. Okay.
How long does it take for a van?
Randy and I were kind of comparing notes for when we did one band the last time, and it took me about 3 weeks.
So then we'd have 30 days from delivery. So that would be your.
That's up to the van writer too.
Right.
I can always object to it. Yeah. But usually they're pretty quick about it.
I'd like to make a motion that we do something and purchase this.
Motion by Mike to purchase this.
I'll second.
Second by Nancy.
Could we amend it to say on a 10-year ban? And then we can always pay it off early if we want to.
If it's available.
If it's available.
If it's available.
If it's
yeah.
available.
If it's available.
Sure.
Just, we don't
Yeah,
know what
might
else
as well
might
stretch
come
it
up
out.
during the year.
Right.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So you want to make a motion to purchase it at this point in time with a 10-year ban?
If it's available.
If it's available.
If it's available, yeah.
It's not contingent.
Yeah.
That's my understanding.
Right.
It's just
Right.
that would be
Right.
our
If
desire.
it's available.
And somewhere in there, just to add a little discussion to it, we need to also, whichever is higher, the trade-in or the Auctions International. Let's not be stupid about it, but get as much as we can for the old one.
Exactly.
So authorize you to dispose of that? Is that what you're asking for?
Yeah, I can do that.
To sell or
the
trade
weight
at
auctions
the
are
best price.
Yeah, the
Sell
best
trade
price.
at the best price, yeah.
Right.
Add that to your motion, Mike. That you good with that?
Sure.
You good with that?
You get that, Dee?
You good with the second, ma'am?
Yes.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none. Expensive meeting.
Thank
Randy.
you. That's the last thing I had on here.
Good.
Good.
Amen.
Sorry.
We now expect you to spend like 20% less of your budget this year.
Yeah. Well, possibility of that. 20%.
I know you try hard. Yeah.
So with that resolution, are you giving me the authority to apply and look into a ban? Also,
Does that need to be a separate resolution?
no, that's up to you.
Well, it's up to
I've
you.
always had a separate resolution, just giving me the authority to start the paperwork on it.
Well, I'll move that.
Okay.
Moved by Bob. I'll second that. Any discussion? None? All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed. Okay. We'll move on to old business. We have a tabled resolution changing the length of service required for elected officials of the town of Lake Pleasant to be eligible for town-paid health insurance in their retirement. Bob, you asked to table that because you wanted to.
Yeah, I wanted to think about it. I wanted to talk to some folks.
Mike Fisher. Mike, turn the fans on. They're right behind your back.
What's that?
Turn the fans on low, to circulate that air. I'm sorry, Robin, I didn't mean to interrupt
Yep,
you.
not a problem.
Thank you. Okay.
So I've done that. You want me to comment on that?
Sure.
Is that what
Yeah,
you'd
if
like?
you would, please.
Yeah, let's read the resolution again, and so that everybody's fresh with that. I don't have it with me.
That's right here.
Yeah.
We're changing the length of service required for elected officials of the town of Lake Pleasant to be eligible for town-paid health insurance in their retirement. By Chris Meixner. Whereas elected officials of the town of Lake Pleasant, the supervisor, the councilpersons, the town clerk, the superintendent of highways, and the town justices and their spouses and dependent children currently become eligible for retirement health insurance paid by the town of Lake Pleasant after reaching 10 years of service to the town and entering retirement directly from their position. And whereas Resolution 71 of 2011 requires full-time employees of the town of Lake Pleasant hired as of January 1st, 2012 to work 30 hours or more per week and serve for 20 years before becoming eligible for the same benefit. And whereas the Lake Pleasant Town Council desires fairness and equal treatment of all employees, whether elected, appointment, or hired, and whereas the cost of health insurance premiums have risen substantially each year for many years now, often by double digits, and whereas members of the Lake Pleasant Town Council are entrusted to ensure the public resources are used in the best interests of the public and as effectively and efficiently as possible, therefore be it resolved that starting January 1st, 2018, elected officials of the town of Lake Pleasant would become eligible for retirement health insurance paid for by the town of Lake Pleasant after 20 years of service, and including any service as an employee previous to being elected. The motion is by Chris Meixner.
Yeah, the only thing I came to my attention. I'm all in favor of the 20 years, and I'm all in favor of the percentage. The only thing I have difficulty with is maybe the start date.
What was the start date you had on
June
that?
1st, 2018?
The original first draft was June 1st, 2018. That's the one I passed out a few weeks ago.
Right.
But the more I thought about it, the more I thought the only fair thing to do would be to go with the date that the employees were required to have 20 years. To me, that seems to be the most fair.
Which was 2012, was that, or what? I don't have my copy with me, so.
January 1st, 2012.
So
Yeah.
that would mean that sitting board or sitting electeds would lose it, their health, or they'd have to work for 20
They'd
years.
have to work 20 years to get the town to pay for their retirement health insurance. Now, this would not affect Randy because he earned his retirement health insurance before he
Right,
became highway superintendent. Okay. It doesn't affect Don Purdy for the same reason. He served 14 years. He's already earned town-paid retirement health insurance. The person I'm concerned about it affecting is Debbie, because she's been here 8 years and she works full time.
Mm-hmm.
So I would be willing to compromise on that and choose a date after when Debbie started, which was January 1st, 2010. So that leaves it affecting Mike and Katie Smith.
Okay, that was my understanding.
Okay.
Do we have a second?
So I hope we can talk about it anyway.
Yeah, let's, well, it was already tabled, so it was moved and seconded, right? It was just tabled,
Right,
so.
right.
So it's only fair, Mike, that you're able to weigh in because you're the one that's affected.
Well, I don't think that's fair to me. I've been here for 6.5 years. I don't see how we can go back in time and make up, laws and rules and change policies that have been in effect for a long time. I don't have a problem with it as long as we have a starting date from now forward.
So you're excluding currently elected employed.
No, elected officials.
Well, we're all employed even though we're elected.
Right.
Oh, well, there's
Yeah, that's all. That was my
a distinction that I keep tripping over.
well, yeah, we're all compensated for,
Right.
so that that's where the rub is, obviously.
Mr. Supervisor, who pays your hospitalization?
I pay 20% and the county pays the 80%.
Okay.
I take what you're saying, Mike, and I agree with you in theory, okay? What bothers me, and I'm perfectly happy with the board picking a date, okay? But what bothers me is that before you got on the board voted to require more of the employees than it requires of itself and other elected officials. So that's where this whole resolution comes from. I have a very strong sense of fairness and it just offends me. So. I mean, do you want to start it like January 1st, 2013? I mean, is that an option?
Then it would just be affecting Kate, right?
Yeah, and she's only been here 2 years.
2 years.
And she's very well compensated.
No. I really like starting like January 1st, 2018.
Mm.
That's what I think.
I'm in the minority, I can see.
No, I agree with Chris. We're looking at an increase again this year of double digits for health insurance. It's fastly approaching $500,000 what we're spending in our budget. It's something that needs to be controlled. Other towns have followed suit. Where very few people get any health benefits for being on the board or elected officials. I think we need to get in
Well,
line
this
with
doesn't
the-
even take anything away. It just requires putting in an additional 10 years.
Right.
So.
So where do we stand in your motion then, Chris?
Well, it would appear to me that the only way this is going to be adopted is if we go with January 1st, 2018. How do you feel about it, Nancy?
That date, yes, the 2018.
Okay. We were emailing back and forth, and I know that
Right.
that's how you felt, yeah.
So it's changing the
Well,
starting date to January 1st, 2000.
Isn't that what you read?
That's
Oh, no,
what-
it was
that's-
June.
June.
to remove from June.
It doesn't really matter.
January.
It doesn't matter. Because there's nobody that has started after Mike. No, after Katie.
After Katie.
Right. So you want to redo this then and present it again, or?
No, I would just say, it's fine with the change in date.
So motion adopting Chris January 1st, 2018 for all elected officials to go from 10 years to 20 years, starting in 2018.
Yeah.
And Nancy, did you second that?
Sure.
All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Aye.
Opposed?
Yes. Motion's carried. Moving on to item 2, use of the library for town board meetings. Spoke to Bob. Bob, are you still here?
Yep.
Bob, did you want to speak on this at all?
I sent you all a letter.
Yeah.
Pretty self-explanatory. If you have any questions, I'll certainly answer them for you.
I didn't get a letter.
I emailed it to you.
It would come by email.
Did you put an H in my name? A lot of people do.
I emailed you exactly the email that I was given.
Yeah.
Maybe it's in the junk file.
I'll have to check and see.
My concern now, after reading your letter, is more than it was before, because as you can see, the numbers exceeding what your calculation is showing here now. The legalities of holding a meeting like this, can you speak on that at all, or?
Not really.
I personally don't care either way, but now that is a concern of mine. Before it didn't really concern me that much, but as you can see, we're over capacity at this point.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm certainly in favor of my first intention would be not to move from here, but I think that's something we're just going to have to do. If we have to have further information, whatever we're talking about, we'll have to get tabled to the following meeting, so the research could be done another time. I don't see that would be the only
What
option
other
you would
research
have.
we need?
Well, often things come up and we ask Debbie to look things up.
Okay.
And she comes right in and can look them up, where that's not available if we're at the library.
Right. I
So
understand that.
all I'm saying is, if we move to the library, we would have to table whatever we're talking about, because
Oh, I see.
we
Okay.
wouldn't have the ability to get the data. So obviously, my desire would be to be here, but I mean, you got to face the music.
Right.
It is a town building, and as much as I would love to be here, when this was being remodeled, we did meet at the library. It's happened before, so that's where I'm kind of at. I'm only one person.
How many
Mike?
people do we have in here tonight? Has
I
anybody
made-
counted?
I made 25 copies of the agenda.
I counted like 37.
37,
That's including me.
including the board. Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're still being right.
Did I count for 2?
That's going to be way over capacity.
How many can this room hold, supposedly?
25.
Okay, so we're sort of over it.
Right.
Well, the issue becomes New York State Fire Code. And the issue is that, they could close the meeting down because of where we're at.
Danny, can I say something?
Sure, Don.
I was just reading, looking in the open meetings law, and it's number 103, I guess, is what you call it. Paragraph D. Public bodies shall make or cause to have made all reasonable efforts to ensure that meetings are held in an appropriate facility which can adequately accommodate members of the public who wish to attend such meetings. If we're going to go by the public meetings law, this is not right.
I'm more concerned about the fire code than I am the public meetings.
Yeah.
Personally.
Well, when we had first couple meetings of the year, we had a little book that had all sorts of public meeting stuff that was.
Now I have it on my computer, so if you want me to look it up, I will.
I got it right here too.
Okay,
it's
good.
very easy to look up.
Yeah, it is.
Why not try? What do you got to do to change it?
Resolution.
What do you got to do to change it? I mean,
Actually, I don't know if we really have to do anything. It just has to change the advertisement. Right?
We'd have to
Well, I
advertise
think
it.
would we have to revoke the resolution at the
where the meetings-
organizational meeting?
Yeah.
We'd probably have to amend that resolution
Amend it,
and change it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I move that we do it.
what's the grant
This-
pocket at this point?
You know,
Yeah.
I'm hoping that we continue to have a good turnout at the meetings. I'm very happy to see so many people interested in what's going on. And, you know, even those I don't agree with, I'm happy to see them.
Yeah.
So.
Absolutely.
So we have a motion.
Second.
Second by Bob. All in favor of moving the meeting location to the library?
Aye.
Opposed?
Well, you know, we could always move back if public interest
I don't
wanes.
want to, but let's try.
Yeah, I'll try.
Motion's passed. Then we will have to amend the resolution for the meeting location.
Yeah, and I have to advertise in the newspaper.
And we'll have to advertise in the paper.
So is that a second resolution you're speaking of, or?
No, that's
This
just what I
one we
have
just
to,
did.
just
amend
what I
stuff.
have to do.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm with you.
Oh,
And are we staying on Monday nights too? Okay, same time too.
Same time, same date.
Same station.
Okay.
Same station.
Well, I guess that would depend if the library is available on Monday nights at 7.
According to Karen, it is.
Oh, okay.
I think paperwork has to be filed with the library, though, to
Okay.
reserve the room.
Okay.
Is there a form, Nancy, we have to get?
I believe so.
You just talk to Sherry and she marks it on the calendar.
Oh, it was my understanding that there was.
We've never filled out. Okay, I've never filled out any
I'll look into
paperwork.
it,
I
Nancy.
just
Thank you.
talk to Sherry.
Okay. Any other old business? None. New business would be the resolution I bring forward at the past meeting. For new employees and elected officials to pay 20% of their health insurance premiums. This is to avoid a situation that we ran into recently with insurance buyouts, and it's in line with the counties and the other towns and the schools in the area. Want me to read this again?
You don't have to do it for me.
Okay.
But maybe others.
And I make that motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Chris. Discussion.
Shall I read it just for the benefit of the people in the audience, perhaps?
Sure, please.
Sure.
Sure.
Go ahead and read it.
I know your voice is getting tired.
It's been a long day.
Okay, it's titled New Employees and Elected Officials to Pay 20% of their Health Insurance Premiums. Whereas the Town of Lake Pleasant makes available individual medical insurance coverage for eligible full-time employees and elected officials at no cost to the employee or official. And whereas medical insurance coverage is also available for the spouses and dependent children of eligible full-time employees and elected officials, with the employee or official paying 15% of the additional premium. And whereas an individual plan currently costs the town $9,255 a year, an employee with spouse plan costs $19,709 a year, an employee with children plan costs the town $15,733 a year, and a family plan costs the town $26,375 a year, in addition to their salary. Whereas health insurance premiums in 2017 cost the town $358,934, which was 20% of the 2017 budget. And whereas health insurance premiums went up by 11.6% for 2018 based on the 2017 enrollees. And whereas members of the Lake Pleasant Town Council are entrusted to ensure that public resources are used as effectively and efficiently as possible in the best interests of the public, therefore be it resolved that starting blank date, newly hired, eligible full-time employees and elected officials who wish to avail themselves of the Town of Lake Pleasant's medical insurance coverage benefit will pay 20% of the premiums for their plan, whether individual, employee with spouse, employee with children, family, or any other medical insurance plan offered by the town to its full-time employees. So it affects anybody that would be hired after what, this date?
I jotted down a date of 4/1.
Yeah, April 1.
Of what? 4/1?
Yes.
4/1.
That would be April 1st. Any discussion?
Well, the only thing I want to say there is that people are hired with this notion, then so be it. You know what I mean? You know, whether or not we get quality, committed people for that position, that's another. We'll find that out.
Mm-hmm.
But if they come to the interview and what are my benefits, I can say this to them and so on.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And then I get nobody, then we'll go from there.
Maybe then we'll have to raise pay, but you know,
Right.
it's
But that's
worth
as long as
trying.
it's put up front
Yeah.
to them. It's not changed down the line, that or anything else.
Yep.
It is what it is. I mean, it's
Yeah, thank you, Randy. That
So
was
you-
my concern.
Yeah, definitely.
You made the motion. I don't believe it's been seconded. Is that correct?
Second by Chris.
Okay.
Chris, second by
Okay.
Chris. All in favor?
aye.
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 Opposed? Hearing none. Resolution's passed. Thank you. Any other new business?
Samantha DeRocher is here to talk about youth rec.
Sure. Samantha, do you want to let us know where you're at?
Right now, I'm still talking to quite a few people in town, like Katrina Kennedy. She's the instructor at Dip and Drummer, which is a dance studio in Speculator, right across from the library and the library down there. Ski just got done. There were 42 kids that participated, and it went very well. The kids are doing very, very good. They are enjoying it, so keeping up with that. And there's going to be a lot going on at Oak Mountain this summer. They have, their trails are going to be open. They have a new thing called disc golf, which I'm not even sure exactly what it is. It's got a frisbee, and I have to learn how to do it. I have an outline of the ideas that I have, which I can make public because it was brought up that possibly, I don't know how many people are on Facebook in the town, but for a lot of the parents getting notices out, I know there's a little bit of difficulty. So making a Facebook page, I can put this up. It's got kind of some of the ideas that I want to do for summer rec, which I know last year was kind of a flop. It went 2 weeks and it dropped. There's quite a few reasons why. I mean, there wasn't a lot of participation, a lot of people didn't know about it, and the timing. So I'm looking to possibly changing the days, the time. I'm going to be sending out a survey through the school and getting parent and children participation to see what they're interested in, what's going to be working better. I did present to Mrs. Philo possibly doing transportation, because I know last year, being a parent, I wanted to send my daughter, but I could take her there, but I had no way to get her home. So she really couldn't participate, which, like I said, was probably one of the downfalls. This year, I presented to her, and because of the timing with everything, they're already doing their school budget for next year and the summer. so it's not really going to be an option. We can look into it for next summer. But I was hoping maybe like people could carpool. Like, let's see, July 10th, which has already been coordinated with the library, they have the Utica Zoo come and they bring a couple of their animals. Well, it got so big last year, there was over 100 people that came. They're moving it to the pavilion, so it would be either the first or second day of summer rec. So it's something that we're working with the library with. I'm going to be working with Four Rivers Alliance, which is a youth group, and the tobacco projects and stuff like that, working with them. I want to do a lot of crafts. I want to go hiking with them. Some of the end of the year projects are, trips, like for the older kids, I want to take them to like either go rafting, doing things together and getting them out and getting them active. There's not a lot up here, and as you know, electronics are prevalent and annoy me. I grew up outside. That's where I think a child should be, learning. So like going rafting, taking to Sable Chasm. I don't know if you've heard of Adirondack Extreme in Bolton Landing, but it's got rope swings and rope ladders. It's awesome. So I'm gonna take them out to the Wild Center, the museum. That place has had so many upgrades. It's really good to get them out. There's a few animal things, like I said, with the zoo coming. I'd really like to take them to someplace other than Adirondack Animal Land, because to me that's just not a good place. I don't really like it that much. But one of the hikes that I have in July would be into like Kunjamuk Cave. I kind of wanted to do something in October, like taking the kids like to Colonel Peck's grave, or maybe a walk into Rhinelander, something that's educational, but getting them outside and learning. Like I have to learn some of these because I don't really know a lot of them. What I also brought up with talking to Mrs. Philo, which we're trying to work on using their facility, is like in May doing a mother-son dance, because there's not really a lot that the parents do with their children. So I thought maybe like a mother-son dance in June or May, and then a father-daughter dance in June. And then I kind of was looking to maybe do like a Thanksgiving dinner that the kids presented themselves. They worked on it, they helped cook it, they helped do a little presentation, they served it to everybody, and to get them into being with family and more active, that's not sitting in front of a screen. I'm hoping that this can go through. I've got talking to the pavilion and getting the dates. Right now I wanted to use the school as a backup. Mrs. Fallow said that the area that we could use for summer is actually having the floors replaced. So that's not going to be so. We're going to be looking into possibly using the library or maybe like the Lake Pleasant Fire Department if that's possible. I think that's really it. I just want more participation from like the parents and the kids to get everybody as active as possible.
Samantha?
Yes.
Over here. Chris came up with an interesting thought. We've been emailing about perhaps doing the youth rec early enough so that the parents can drop them off before work, and then perhaps pick them up at lunchtime.
One of the times that I did put on the survey was 9:30 to 12:30.
Well, it might have to be even a little earlier than 9:30 for those who maybe will start work at 9.
I can definitely put it an option in, because like I said, I'm trying to work with everybody, but I don't want it to be too early for the kids, because it is summer and they have to get up. Like I get my daughter up at 6 o'clock to have to get ready to school because her bus picks her up at 5 to 7.
Oh.
For a kindergartner, that's kind of early to me.
Yeah, that is.
Some things haven't changed at all in 20 years.
I used to drop your kids off.
I'll just say, you know, if transportation is such a huge problem, then I think we have to try and at least think about working around the parents' schedules.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to. That's why I want to get this sent out, and I mean, it can be passed around. I have no problem with it being looked at. Like I said, I will be finishing this, putting a letterhead on it so they know that it's from the town and not just another school paper. But right now, Youth Rec they had it from 10:30 to 12:30, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I'm trying to get out there and see if maybe doing it 4 days a week, 8:30 or 9 o'clock or whatever we can do till 12:30 would be better, or if it would be more accommodating to do it all day. Because I know a lot of the parents said it's not really worth dropping my kids off for 2 hours to go drop them off and then just have to come right back and pick them up. You can't really get that much done, especially
It's
if you
true,
have
yeah.
a lot of participation. And a lot of kids running around trying to get them all organized. It takes more than an hour to get something done.
Did Mrs. Philo say anything about the trips, the transportation for the trips? Will that still be available?
She says that's normally worked in, but I'm going to double check exactly with her because she was going over with the budget and everything.
Okay, that's good.
And you have a very ambitious schedule,
because like I
which
said, it's-
I'm delighted with.
Very
I'm
good.
just wondering how does it work with your budget?
That's what's going to be difficult with what looking at, because there are things that are like preset, like with the basketball camp. It's been worked in that Dickie in past years had been donating an allotted amount for their t-shirts. So that takes away from a little bit of it. So working in it is kind of difficult. I'm trying to figure out exactly what supplies we have left. So that's why I'm trying to do a few more things like around like up to Oak Mountain. They're going to have everything, and we can walk up to there, walking the nature trail, and doing stuff that's not going to cost as much, but you still got to get them out and active and give them the reward for working hard. So what I need to know is if it's okay for me to do the Facebook page for me guys, so I can get it out there. Because like I said, Mrs. Fallow said it, she thinks it would be a really good thing, as long as I can start getting people to like the page and actually be on it.
I don't see any
I
problem
think
with
that's
that.
a great idea.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Samantha,
Yes.
I served on the youth rec for a lot of years, and I applaud you for your energy and what you're putting into it.
Yep.
We have struggled to get, and Mike will attest to that, we've struggled to get anything going. So thank you very much.
Yep. Did you ever get to the village?
I haven't got it done, but I don't if you want to vote on it. I don't want to vote.
Anything else? Yes?
I was just looking earlier today at the boat wash budget and all, and I saw that in November, I believe, we're missing $31,000. We're short 30 for 2017. It looks like to me that Elizabeth put in a grant for a request in November 9th, that I don't believe we've received yet, or at least
I believe that's the one that Randy thought was his.
Yeah, but we moved it. Whatever that one was, we moved it back.
That money did come in and was transferred.
well, that was I thought was the big one that came. The one that was this would have been just a 31,000.
That would have been for the first or second phase of the stewardship.
Well, I was just going to ask if you could look into it and just see if it's
Sure, I have that. Not sure what sheet you have, but
the one from Elizabeth.
that one shows the dates the money came and how much.
The dates the money was requested, and then I looked it up to see when it came. I, asked Kathy for the information.
We'll compare that to mine, because mine has the dates that it's been received.
Okay.
So, okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, you took your money back. I know that.
Yeah. The problem is,
I gotta try.
the problem is the money's transferred. They don't tell you from the state
what it's for.
So trying to decipher whose money it is
I believe we were
challenging.
really close to the number.
It was a very close number for CHIPS or the DEC grant. All right, moving on. Well, I'll entertain for a motion to pay the bills.
I will.
Moved by Nancy. Second.
I'll second.
Second by Mike. All in favor? Opposed?
As long as I don't find a problem between here and there.
Yeah, right. Any other public comments?
Gary Reinhardt. I'll try to make sure with you that we make that everything for the next meeting is all put on Declan correctly, and try to make sure it's all. set up. Also, there was a quick talk about form for meetings. There is a form that you can fill out for the meetings. I've had to do that for my interviews. Of course, you also can just talk to her, but if you wanted to do it official, like there is a specific form to rent a room for specific time, and then you put the approximate amount of people that are going to be in there, what is it used for, yada yada yada.
Yeah.
But I've had to use it. I use it for my interviews just to make everything all official.
I have to.
Yeah. I'd also like to say for Samantha that Dackland Radio would be willing to advertise as well the different events as they come up. So once you finalize those, we'd be willing to put those up on the station as well. Because I'm very excited about hearing all that too.
Good. Anyone else? Okay, there's no reason for executive session this meeting. We'll move to roundtable. Bob?
The date that we would start meetings at the library would be the next meeting, is that
correct?
I just want to make sure everybody's understanding that.
As long as there's no problem with the library.
April 2nd.
April 2nd.
We missed April Fool's Day.
That's Easter. That's
I was
Easter.
going to say, isn't that the day after Easter?
Ooh. Yes, it is. No,
Chris?
that's all I have.
All right.
Thank you.
Chris, anything?
I have a suggestion. We don't have anybody on the board that acts as a liaison with the Chamber of Commerce that I know of. And I'm just wondering if that maybe we should have somebody like that. That, you know.
The president happens to be here standing in the back.
Hey, Jim.
Well, if you want me to come to the meetings, I can come to the meetings.
Well, Donna's been very good about that, and you have too.
Yeah.
You've both been going to a lot of meetings.
So we'll make sure either one of us are here.
Wonderful.
Ah.
Thank you.
Then we don't need a liaison.
That's better.
Thank you. That's wonderful.
Yeah, we have a couple good things coming up that we'll think about.
Okay.
Good.
Is there anything that you want to tell the board
There's
about?
stuff in the works right now. We're what was brought up earlier about housing, getting some young people to come into the area, getting housing for them, so that they want to work in our businesses. The thing is that if any of you know, a lot of us have come up here. We stopped in here one day and we got sucked right in.
Yep.
It's an amazing place, and we fall in love with it. So we're hoping to get some of these young people who have these skills who want to come in here. A couple ideas are going around. It was great doing the Irish bowling. I heard quite a few good suggestions for things like that. But also just in talking to people. So we are working on some solutions for that part of it. And then just there's a couple other things we want to do to try to entice some businesses here. FiOS is coming. They've been putting up the wires. So high-speed internet is going to be coming here relatively soon.
I got some stuff on that.
Yes, and that's going to really help us a lot, so that those businesses that may not provide a product for this town, but or a business that are going to be paying people, those might be attracted to this because we have an amazing school. I mean, the kids are going again to another competition because of
Came in first.
Yeah.
Amen.
So it's a great opportunity to bring some young folks in here. The biggest Achilles heel we're running into right now is housing. New families coming in here. It's hard to find affordable housing. We are the Adirondack. The chamber is going to be doing some side things. We're going to be doing a whole thing on Airbnb posting, a seminar on that, also a seminar on how to start your own Facebook page. Because we want people to know it's something you can do that's going to help get some other people into this area. But we do need to think about some solutions for affordable housing for new young families coming into the area. A lot of buildings sitting around here that aren't being used, so there might be some opportunities there. But these are all things we've been working on. And then of course you saw Maple Fest. That was a lot of fun. That was for the parade committee and the after parade stuff. So, and that event was a lot of fun, and I think it really went over well. So.
Very good.
Donna's doing an amazing job. So.
She's doing good.
Yeah.
Thank you. Mike?
Nancy, did you have it?
I thought of something and it just went, so,
Oh, I know that feeling.
Welcome to our world.
Yeah.
Nothing? Deb? Just wanted to mention again that the local government day is coming up April 18th and 19th.
I did send that out to everybody to let you know.
Well, let you know the phones are fixed now for the weekends.
Nice.
Oh, thank you.
They actually, I did a call card and they came and he found a mistake from when he first set the system up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. No, that's
And I did a little checking on the fiber that's coming through town, just so everybody knows that they're looking at a phase 3 complete date of 12/31/2019. That's phase 3. Phase 2, they're looking at 12/31/2018, but that's not going to affect a lot of us. Some of the questions were.
And phase 1 is
Phase 1 is
what they're doing.
in process.
Okay.
Yeah. One of the questions was, will they run it to your house? The fiber drop can be delivered for customer replacement. Otherwise, aerial or buried option would be completed by Frontier. So if you're capable of running the fiber, you can get the fiber from Frontier and install it yourself, or they'll do the installation. Currently, the Frontier product includes speeds up to 150 megs.
Wow.
Speed tiers and pricing are not available at this time.
There you go. $500 a month.
And it'll be, once it's installed in the house, it'll be wireless through the house and with a wireless router provided by Frontier. So that's all they're telling us right now, but it's in the works. It's
a lot further than we were 10
yes.
years ago, which
Yep.
we've been trying for.
Well, that reminded me of what I was going to
There you
ask.
go.
As far as the tower at the courthouse, is there anything we could do as a town to request Verizon or AT&T or someone to seriously look at that? I mean, instead of waiting for them to, decide that they feel that we poor peons out in that
It's going to take a number of
part.
potential customers to request it.
I
For
had
them to
I had a
consider.
conversation with Judge Purdy about the tower, and it is definitely going to be an option to be used, but they need to put their towers up first and then see what space is available if that's going to be accommodating
And
for.
if it's feasible.
So-
Right, but you know what I'm saying. Is there
Yeah.
anything that we could do as a town to encourage a little bit more coverage from Verizon or from AT&T for them to realize that that one little tower up on Oak isn't, I mean, all they have to do is come here 4th of July and find out that you can't communicate at all.
Yeah.
So.
The problem is they don't care about the little towns.
I know. Yeah. But
Big
they
problem.
should. They should. The governor should get involved because it's a public safety issue.
Well, Senator
That's where
Disco's
all the
going
money
to be
for
here
these improvements
in
come from.
May. So maybe that will be something we can bring up to him.
That sounds good.
The luncheon at the end. So
Yeah.
we'll definitely
Always,
get that money.
And show them
make
the
a
two.
motion or bring
Yeah,
a resolution.
I'm definitely
and
doing a luncheon for Tedesco, so
that
we'll
we
definitely be here.
have Debbie send to Frontier and Verizon, encouraging them
All right,
to
if we're,
think about using that new
Frontier
tower.
or Verizon, yeah, AT&T or
Yeah, all of them.
I'll entertain
Send
for a
it to
motion
all.
to adjourn. A motion to adjourn.
But we're still meeting.
All right.
I move we adjourn.
All right. Second. Thank you, everybody.